There's no intro.
Oh yeah, all our stuff's going.
Yeah, StreamYard changed, but we're live now, so we'll get that figured
Whatever.
out later. Yeah, no intro today. Let the looks like we're live, so people are probably. Let's go get Instagram live. Let's click go live over here just to see if Instagram will work as well. I think it will. All right, guys. Some people are joining at the moment, but yeah, new season, lots of new stuff to talk about, announce. I'm excited, Jake. How about you, buddy?
Yeah. I already got my first taste of travel for the year out of the way, so it's only up from there.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We'll probably chat about that here in a minute too. But yeah, it was a good break. I hope you guys all had a good break. Everyone out there who is watching and joining right now, it's I mean, it's not like we were completely disappeared from off the planet, but we work hard during the season. You know what I mean? Like we go hard. I fish, you fish other stuff. Besides running KAS, we ran 7 events last year, which was one more than we'd ever done. So I just took it easy, hung out with the family, obviously worked on all the stuff behind the scenes, which we're going to begin announcing today on some new things in the next few episodes of our lives. All the other cool new announcements that I wish I could tell you about all of them now, but just hang on a little bit longer. Anyway, that's what I've been up to, and I have social media fatigue. I'm sure a lot of people do that grew up in the day and age like you did, Jake, where social media became a part of our lives while we were born, and it was all this cool new thing, this new fancy toy. It was exciting, and it's turned into something that's not really like why we got on it originally. So I'm just kind of over it, but we got to be on it for actual communication with the people we do care about, we do know, we do love you guys who are part of this. So here we are back at it. So yeah, anything else you want to catch me up on or catch the viewers up on with your
No.
Christmas break?
Yeah, we've it was a long season. I was burnt out come September. Like that last event was like I think that was all I had left in the tank. So I got home and I was just like just turned my brain off for like 4
Done.
weeks.
Yeah.
Fixed
Exactly.
my truck, all those things.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff you guys are doing too as anglers that fish the series, you need to like you're just kind of exhausted and burnt out and over it too. You tried so hard, whether it was you just fished 1 or 2 events and started to learn about tournaments, or you were chasing that AOI and came up a little bit short or whatever, and it was just like But anyway, we all need that reset and that break. So glad to be back though, rejuvenated, rocking and rolling with a lot of cool new stuff going on. Let's start with up in our top corner there, Raccoon Creek Outfitters. Appreciate them. They are back and as the sponsor of our live streams, guys. So Raccoon Creek Outfitters, go check them out here in Ohio, where I am, and also they are currently at the Great Lakes Fishing Expo. So go check it out. They're there set up today, tomorrow, and Sunday. I'll be there on Sunday. It's in like the Youngstown area. I'll be there on Sunday doing a seminar. And trust me when I say I tell stuff that I would never tell you guys now publicly live or never on my YouTube because I'm still old school. I don't like revealing all the secrets, man. Like I can't stand it. Kyle Patrick revealed this secret about the you can use, like the Power Pole Vision, for example, or units like that, and go back and Google Earth and show the historical imagery while you're live on the water. You can see that. And he posts it and everyone's like, "Oh my goodness," and gets like hundreds of thousands of views. And I'm like, I've known that forever and been telling people in my, close circles and in my classes about it whenever I do those. But anyway, that's a little pet peeve of mine that bugs me, and all the secrets and tips get shared. But I'll be doing that on Sunday at the Great Lakes Fishing Expo. So come see us, Raccoon Creek Outfitters. Thank you guys. GoPro's back as the headline sponsor, so that's pretty exciting. They still love KAS. They see the value in it. You guys are out there. Clearly, obviously, everyone doesn't use GoPro, but clearly, a lot of you guys are out there buying GoPros. I see. Even I'm really proud of the older guys who are out there in your 50s, 60s, 70s who I see filming, and you're getting the hang of it. It's not that hard. You see, it's pretty cool, and you're loving it, and really impressed with how everybody is buying into what we've created here with the Kayak Adventure Series. So thank you to GoPro. and we will. I don't know if we'll talk about this later, but GoPro has a special new thing. I'll just show the graphic. We're going to talk about this later. So the Angler's Cut is a new sort of challenge, a new, I don't know, we're going to call it a bonus or whatever, that's going to be part of KAS this year. We're going to talk about it later in the show. But we want to get to our special guest and a few other things before we get into that. And that way he can leave if he needs to. So what do you think, Jake? Time to just bring in our special guest and then you and I can preview the season with him or after he leaves after that and get into
Either
some
or,
new
it doesn't
stuff.
matter.
All right, let's bring him in. Mr. Keith Stevenson, fresh off of, hey, by the way, Keith, before you get started, I did forget to say this. If you're on Instagram, we don't see your comments here. So go over to YouTube, go over to Facebook, comment there. We see all your comments. We're going to try to get to them. But Keith, you were all over Instagram, which is why I thought about that right now, and all over social media in general, but I see it more on Instagram. Yak-Offs, man. You just completed the second round of Yak-Offs for Kayak Angler Magazine, and you're with D Hooker. We're going to talk about both of these entities a little bit. But, yeah, tell us a little bit about how your last season of that went and what you've been up to.
I was just waiting for this special guest to arrive.
Yeah, right.
No one else was.
He's in the chat. Marty Hughes in the chat right there.
Awesome. Yeah, we just finished season 2 of the Yak-Offs. It was Yak-Offs 2, and it went really well. A lot of big names in there. A lot of, we grew 400% from the first Yak-Offs, which happened in spring this year. So we did 2 seasons this year. Paul Glass ended up winning over Justin Floyd, and yeah, it was awesome. We got just cool. grew and something really cool. I just thought about this now. I can kind of announce it because it's going to be announced soon. But this year in the spring, we're doing the Yak-Offs, but it's going to, so far we've brought in 16 professional kayak anglers, people that do it for almost full-time jobs or part of their full-time jobs, or influencers like Drew. Fortunately, Drew didn't win season 1, but he was strong showing. But so that was kind of done on purpose to get a lot of attention through everyone's social channels and stuff. So this Yak-Offs in spring is going to be the Yak-Offs Next Gen. So we're bringing in 16 college kids from 16 different colleges and going to hook them up with mentors like people like Drew and people that have done stuff from the previous Yak-Offs to help them with their builds and do something else. And then in the fall or whenever we do the next one, we're going to do a Yak-Offs, which is like a weekend warrior edition. So it's not just always people that are in these competitions that have tons of sponsors and all this opportunity to have forced currents and stuff like that on their boats. Right. So we want to kind of go the other direction a little bit right now. And, but yeah, it's been such a fun project because it first of all, it didn't flop and I created it. So I didn't look sitting here with egg on my face, but, yeah,
it was great.
Yeah, it was really good. And it I've made a ton of new friends out of it, man. And a lot of the anglers have made new connections and people have been able to rig up their yaks with new ideas and created new sponsorships. And yeah, it was really good. So looking forward to the next one and getting some younger generation involved and getting more people out there on the water for sure.
Yeah, that is cool, man.
Yeah, man.
We'll have some of these kayaks that are rigged up, hopefully at some of our events. And if the anglers are nice enough, we could have our little festival hangout, whatever you want to call our meetup. It originally started out, we called it a festival. But then as we see how whipped everyone is by that point in the week, it's become more just like they just want to get back, eat food, hang out, and just talk. And
food is like the number one thing. You got to make sure that there's food that they can get quickly.
Yeah, beer and food is what they seem to care about the most at that point when they're whipped. So, we have had some that are festivals like Broodstock with the bounce houses and the games and all that kind of stuff. But the reality is, we thought we'd have more even kayak demos and stuff like that. But, the anglers, they just want to go back and chill. But having said that, I think that if we got some of these top anglers who have these kayaks already rigged out, I think they would, like we have our raffle kayak for charity, in front of right there in the theater, kind of at our hangout festival. I think it'd be cool to have some of these rigged up kayaks sitting there.
Totally.
You know what? We had the winner of the Yak-Off was there with me. Like he had it as it was rigged and entered into the thing.
Yeah.
He filmed a lot of that B-roll. Like I was watching him do it.
Yeah.
We should have
Jake's
put
taking
that on
credit.
display.
He's taking some portion
Yeah.
of credit right now.
There we
Well, I
go.
will say,
He's like, I blessed it. I blessed it. I touched
I
that.
drilled the holes for
Yeah.
See?
the
Oh,
mount
well,
I knew the
maybe-
spring was
on that same one when we were
I
doing
should
the
ask-
Scully photo shoot.
I should ask Paul where we should put your name on his belt and
Yeah,
how much
I
of the
want,
cash
like,
prize
my
he gets.
1%.
He said, yeah.
Yeah, hey, that belt was nice. Yakovs, I tell you what,
That belt
we
was
should
cool,
talk
yeah.
about Yakovs, or we promote the Yakovs and whatever, and you guys help us out with getting a really, really nicer Century belt. Ours is still pretty cool that we do for the 100 inches. It's got, drink holders on each side. It's pretty cool, but that belt was like legit.
Yeah,
But
that-
anyway,
And it was cool at ICAST too, presenting it to Jake, and he was the perfect guy to wear because he already looks like a wrestler.
yes.
But strutting around ICAST with this green leather brass shiny belt was pretty
That was
funny.
a moment that I didn't think that I'd ever witness when I started kayak fishing, was being at like a piano bar with a rigged fishing kayak and a wrestling belt on
Yeah.
display.
It
I'm
was,
pretty sure that kayak was full of like empty beer bottles when the person took it
Yeah.
home.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
no offense to
Yeah.
Paul. Jeff might have been better, but like when someone else puts the belt on besides Jake, I'm saying Jeff, his partner, with the aggressively average anglers.
Yeah.
No, like if I won, or Russ Snyder's, or somebody that's not quite the stature that Jake Suvak is,
Yeah.
right? It's going to be a little different. But
Well, both of
anyway,
those
we'll wear
boys
it.
from the AA Anglers have some big personalities, so they'll definitely.
Absolutely.
Although
yeah.
Paul did just build himself a new gym in his basement, and they are starting a new fitness thing coming out pretty soon, which people
He's gonna be
should keep
swole.
their
He does.
I
eye
think,
out on.
him.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
he's pretty swole dude as well. But anyway,
Yeah,
it
for
was
sure.
pretty cool to see him win in the Crescent Smalley, no doubt, which is pretty cool. I
Yeah,
never
for
see.
sure,
I
yeah.
told you when you asked me to be in the first one, and truth be told, I don't know how much you want to say, but I don't want to get like off topic or off color, but it was funny that when you first came out with it, like any new thing, right? The power
Yeah.
pole, one of the best
Yeah.
tools in bass boats ever. People
Right.
laughed at it and made fun of it. And when the very first initial, we saw this yak offs, and people started saying like, whatever, making some other
Totally.
terms about it, like, oh, whatever. So you guys can use your imagination. And then when it actually came out and you kept following up with me, and I did it, and I understood more about it. It's more about getting conversation going and getting people just excited to see what can be possible in these things, whether you're a simple kayak angler like me that doesn't really want a lot, but there's still things you can do to simplify and streamline that kind of kayak style, or it's the opposite, where I always say it does look like that board game Mousetrap. It's got stuff all over it, just insane. And I'm like, what the heck is this? It's just cool because it did exactly what you set out to do. And the fact that it just created conversation, shared all different styles, it would, of course, all different anglers and personalities, and just the diversity of the sport, which is what Kayak Adventure Series is all about. We say choose your own adventure, meaning choose your water, lake, river, creek, choose your style, electronics, big boat, offshore, all the way down to the skinny stuff. Man, it was awesome, and it really has worked out great. So I'm excited to.
And that's why
see
it's a
going.
cool kind of partnership for us, even too, because you build those kayaks how you fish, and your tournaments are you fish where you want to fish. Build your kayak how you want to build your kayak, right? And Paul's kayak was actually, he had a Garmin Force Currents on it, but it was pretty minimalistic, and he ended up winning.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty cool. But that was
the deeper on there, Jake.
Yeah,
it did.
That thing's legit, man. I used it the whole trip. Well, I didn't catch any fish, but it wasn't Deeper's fault.
Yeah, man, no doubt. It looks like a Deeper microphone you have there. Is that the microphone of yours, Jake?
Dude, this is
sponsored
an
by
old
Deeper?
school blue microphone. I've had this bad boy for like 15 years and still kicking.
Nice.
So now the Yak Offs were presented by Kayak Angler Magazine, and you guys are going to be sort of covering and doing some stuff with, KS. So that's exciting. You're going to be at some of the events. So do you want to talk about the magazine and stuff, and some of the stuff we might be doing and working on with KS a little bit?
Yeah, so Drew and I have been chatting, nothing kind of really totally official yet. We're working out some details on how we're going to do this, but getting involved. We've already covered KAS at Kayak Angler. You were in the magazine last year. We've done some digital stuff too, and we're just going to work on how we can make that even bigger and better and get magazines down to your events and some things like maybe some surprises. just be more of a media partner and help you guys grow it. And that's kind of what we're here for, right? We do kayak angler, kayak fishing tournaments, media. So it's good for our sponsors. It's good for the community. It's good for you guys. It's good for us. So why wouldn't we? Makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. And you guys are one of the best like media partners out there, the best media brands out there. So for the kayak space, I mean,
and we also, like, for those that don't know, Kayak Angler is actually our umbrella company is called Delta Digital, which is in the outdoor vertical. We have a bunch of verticals like food and pets and tools and everything, but I work in the outdoor vertical. And within there is Paddling Magazine, the Paddling World Film Festival, Kayak Angler, and Wired to Fish is also with us. And a new thing we just launched called Trailblaze Her, which is a YouTube channel about women in the outdoors going on adventures and stuff. So
that's cool.
Very cool.
So potentially some coverage from KAS and KAS anglers in some of this stuff, which is pretty exciting, you know, to get a little bit more extra boost. Because you know what? We don't have that real component. We have our own socials that are, you know, when you start social media now, you know how it is. You're not going to grow very quick. And it's not like we do this 100% full time either, or trying to do that. But Jake and I have our personal socials and whatnot, but we don't have a print magazine and, you know, the media reach and stuff that you guys do. So it's really cool to see, because that's value to the anglers. You know what I mean? That's value.
Totally.
I always love being in Bassmaster magazine, and it was important.
Who doesn't, right?
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
So yeah, everyone in the chat's like, yeah, I'll take a turn. That sounds great. So, so getting coverage and working with you guys in any other ways and however it shapes out to be, you know, that's exciting for us. So thank you guys for that and having those conversations. And then the next thing, we will post a little graphic here. You also are with D-Hooker, which we announced at Broodstock is going to be the official hook removal tool.
Right.
So right here, the official hook removal tool for KAS. And if you don't have one of these, it's literally like not having a seatbelt in a vehicle for what we do and how isolated we get and where we are. It really is. So tell us a little bit about D-Hooker, and we'll get into some other stuff after that if you want to stick around.
Yeah, so D-Hooker actually has been the presenting sponsor of the ACOFs for the first series, for the first one and the second one. The first thing I'll tell you is there's no E in D-Hooker. Remember, I sent you that text.
Yeah, that was the wrong graphic. Yeah, that was the wrong one. Sorry,
that's all good. So it's D-H-U-K-R. But
yeah, we did. Fix that.
Just like Drew said, it's actually an FDA registered and licensed tool now. So it's going to be used in like veterinarian or hospitals and clinics and veterinarians and with the Coast Guard and all that kind of stuff. And I've got one right here if you don't know what we're talking about. But essentially, I actually stuck a 6-aught jig in my own arm at ICAST to show how it worked. But it's a tool, like Drew said, like it should be, if you fish offshore, if you fish out of a boat, if you fish on a different planet, whatever, if anything with fish hooks, it should be like a pair of pliers. It's like a fire hydrant or a fire extinguisher. You need to have one, but you hope you don't have to use it, right?
Exactly.
And just a preview here, this was out at ICAST too, but they've actually come out with now this model that's getting released on Valentine's Day, and it's called the Yak. So it's the exact same tool, exact same reach and stuff, but it's got like a carabiner style, so you could like clip it on. It's smaller. It's good for kayaking. And then this is one called the Dink, and it's different. It's a smaller one that's going to be used for like sabikis and flies and that kind of stuff. So they're coming up with some cool stuff, and they have some cool plans. And Mike, the owner inventor, has been Steven Sturgeon he's out. Are you on every podcast, Steven? He's always on the Yakov podcast. So he's won. He has one because he won one on that podcast. But yeah, so I know that Mike is very excited to be the official human hook removal tool for the Kayak Adventure Series. So, and you had a bunch there at the Broodstock, right? That you got to give some away.
We did, yeah.
And you also had an incident with the hook in someone's.
Yeah, we did. Oh man, we've had several this year, so I don't remember the exact one that happened at Broodstock, but we did have an incident. So it's such a cool tool. It makes a lot of sense, especially for kayak anglers, and you guys will get to win some of those.
I think it was on the Susquehanna actually, is where he got a hook in his hand and he had to be like taken off the river.
There was one that happened there, but something I feel like happened at Broodstock too. But it's all running together in my brain
Yeah.
at this point. But either way,
Yeah.
I know when you have, so our buddy Ken Morris, who used to do the River Bassin podcast with me, you guys know Ken, he would always joke around because his favorite bait is a whopper plopper. And that's like all he loves to throw. And he has holes all in his pants or at his crotch, all in his crotch area. Because when you boat flip a fish in a whopper plopper and they start going nuts, it gets, it's in the middle of your lap and eventually a hook gets stuck in his leg.
For sure.
Every time it starts ripping and he has to rip it out of his pants. So, the point is it's a little chaotic. You're going to get hooks in you, whether if you do this long enough, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. You can understand and try to learn that braided line trick, but that requires really another person to do it most effectively. What if you get hooked somewhere you can't see it, like around your neck or somewhere you really can't see what's happening as well? This thing is just easy to use, self-explanatory. It's so easy. So I'm excited to have you guys as part of it, give some away and hopefully not have to use them, but make sure people have them. Maybe we'll even have a chance to sell some at the events as well if people want to pick some up or something, and create a bonus category for that. We did talk about that briefly. We never finalized something, but a bonus if you own a dehooker, and you finish a certain place in the tournament or whatever. I don't know how we want to do it, but there could be something we could work out there. But it's exciting, man.
More details to talk about.
Yeah, more details for sure. Are you
people are going to get hooked on purpose to win a prize?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well,
there was about 3 or 4 of us at iCast that did it on purpose at their booth to show how it worked, including me. But anything for views, I guess, right?
I think I watched that actually. Come to think of it,
yeah. I'll tell you what, it's not easy to purposely put a fish hook in your arm. Mike's like, you got to push it harder and push it down and get it through the dermis. I'm like, what the heck's a dermis?
Yeah, it's not gonna be easy. I'm not good with that kind of stuff. I don't know if I could do that to myself on purpose. But anyway, well, you might be at some events, so we can kind of go into some of the events here. You might be at some. We got the schedule. Jake and I are about to pull up the website and the schedule and talk over. We're not gonna. This isn't like a preview show where we do all the boundaries, and talk about the eligible water in depth. But we will touch on it here real quick. Do you want to stick around for any more chat about KS, or you got to run?
Sure, yeah, I'd love to listen in and what's going on.
Cool. Let's and then you just bail whenever you have to. If you want to stay the whole time, that's cool. So another thing I was going to say to start things off here, we have a few other things to announce. Let's announce this here. The official kayak raffle nonprofit previously was pediatric cancer in the first year, and then last year it was autism through the Autism Anglers. And I think both years we've raised somewhere around $6,500 to $7,500. So not as much as I would like to see us raise, but it's better than nothing for sure. But we can do better, I think, on these. So what we're going to do is, you see, ACA is the oldest. It's like actually the oldest nonprofit in like the United States. One of the oldest. It started in 1890 something, I believe. Somebody from the ACA will see this and correct me, but I know it's 1800 something. I'm almost positive. But anyway, they if you guys have noticed, Jeff Little, myself, Dustin Hoy from Raccoon Creek, Russ Snyder's, Jamison Redding, up here. Who else is there? There's a bunch of us. Wade from Yak Attack. There's just so many across the Chuck Earls, who's up here in Ohio. We all got certified in kayak fishing. Right. So level 1 kayak fishing. Some of them are certified up to like level 2, which gets into more whitewater and rivers and things like that, which I know, of course. I'm just not certified through the ACA in that. I've only taken one class, but it costs, like $1,000 to go take the class, the lodging, all that, to go do this class for 2 or 3 days. And, recently we're losing anglers every year, more than we just know about, of course. But last year at Bassmaster, we lost Peyton, the college angler that passed away. So when that happened, I was like, it's always bothered me how kayak fishermen, majority of you guys out there, you can answer this question for yourself as you're listening. You're a fisherman first, you're a bass fisherman, and you got into the kayak fishing second. You weren't a kayaker and a paddler. You guys with, Rapid Media and all the paddling magazines. Also, you understand true paddling skills and what it takes. These are small watercraft that are, canoes and kayaks. There's certain things you need to learn about safety, and Jeff Little has been so good about, that reentry and teaching these things. And, Russ and Dustin and I did on the water seminar last year at the Ohio event. The point is, a lot of you guys out there would love to learn this stuff and be a certified instructor to go out and teach others. And, you make money on it. Of course, it's a service like anything. You might charge somebody $100 for a course, right? Or whatever. And you can include a guide trip and fishing instruction along with it, but you don't have the $1,000 to go get certified. And so because of that, we have less people out there across the country who are able to teach the skills that we all need, clearly, because we don't understand. I'm a little bit different because I did learn how to whitewater paddle, but most of us, we're just fishermen. They just got these little crafts. So that money is going to be used for scholarships that go to people who submit to us to say, I do want to get certified. I do want to teach and help save lives. And then it can also go to anybody, like a college student. Maybe you're part of the Carson Newman team or whatever. Or you're somebody like a Josiah who is kind of interns with us in the high school division, helps out. He may not have the money to buy the $150 or $100 that the instructors are charging to take the safety course. And we could use that money to offer a scholarship to them so they can be safe. So we're trying to save lives and get people, just the skills they need, would actually help you catch more fish, by the way, also. So it's a win-win-win. So ACA, that's who we're partnering with. So that's pretty cool.
We should actually get the connection there with Yakovs for the next gen, because that's the right age to do that with, right?
Exactly. We should. And we've talked about this. Maybe I've already connected you with the instructors to potentially get the de-hooker tool as part of even, you have to get, what is it? First aid certified or CPR certified to actually end up officially passing your, getting your certification with the ACA. But this kind of goes into that. But the problem is no first aid course or, of course, just CPR course is going to teach you how to use this. And I'm not saying that the ACA will implement this per se, but it could be something that becomes part of the curriculum that they talk about, ways to remove a hook. Okay, the best way is the de-hooker. The next, I'm not saying you're going to have people,
or even get one with your registration fee, right?
Yeah, you get one, right?
How to use it. Yeah.
Absolutely. That would be a great thing to include. And you learn how to use it pretty easy. If you watch a video, it's very simple, which is the beauty of it. So anyway, that's pretty cool. Nonprofit that we're going to be using, and that we're giving back to ourselves as kayak anglers with that nonprofit. Not that there's anything, wrong with supporting a child who has, pediatric cancer and his family has nothing to do with kayak fishing. That was great. So was, the autism anglers, but at least the autism anglers were, part of the fishing community as well. So I'm excited about that. Let's see how much money we can raise. The other thing that I was going to announce real quick, it's pretty cool, is the partnership with official Toyota partner with Mike D at Toyota of Kent, who I went to and worked out a deal with him. And he's over there at Toyota of Kent to kind of be the official partner of KES. So if you need to get a truck or any vehicle, any Toyota, go see Mike D. And, but I'll tell you right now, the stock tires that come on these things will not get you through every mud. Okay. So that was yesterday, my incident yesterday, where
that's a nice looking truck.
I got a little stuck. Yeah. But it is a good looking truck. That's a brand new heritage blue color. You guys who know me and the way I fish and what I do know I've driven that same blue 2013 Tacoma since I bought it new in late 2012, 2013 model, drove 253,000 miles on it. It was amazing. Never had one problem with it. Could have kept driving it. Like literally no problems with it. So I got a new one. It was time to upgrade. And a fellow kayak angler in North Carolina met me in West Virginia, and we got that. So sold to him. So he's excited about that one. So it's a long bed. It's a cool truck. Check it out and go see Mike D. And if you go see Mike D, here's what you're going to get, by the way. This isn't just, we recommend him. No, you get stuff from KS. And here is the facts. If you go see Mike D at Toyota of Kent, you buy a truck. It doesn't even have to, it could be a used, part of their used inventory. It doesn't even have to be a new. It could be a 2023 they got as a trade-in, or 2022, whatever. You're going to receive 1 year free KS entry fees to all divisions, $250 in gift cards from our sponsors or product, half-day lesson with me in person or virtual. So if you want to learn, map study, and, we don't live close to each other. But if you want to do it in person, it'll end up being tagged onto a Kayak Adventure Series weekend. So I'll be there. You'll be there. We can do it in person. And of course, you'll be Toyota bonus bucks eligible, which you're competing against the 5 other people in the tournament, or 10, whatever it is, who are eligible, which is a 5-year or newer Toyota. So in other words, like right now it's 2026. So what's that? You got to be in a 2020, I guess, 21, 22, 23, 4. No, 2022, I guess, vehicle or newer. And then you'll be eligible for the extra cash you get for being the top. You don't even have to win. You just have to be the top placing Toyota bonus bucks owner. And I know, what is it? Who is it? Like Eric Tracy and Adam Coleman. They've all been winning extra money through Toyota bonus bucks. So go see Mike D, and that's what you're going to get, other than a great deal and great service from these guys. So fly in, come see me, hang out, drive in, whatever you got to do. Good deal for KES.
Sweet.
Another cool thing that we can talk about before we get into the actual events is what I teased earlier, the English cut from GoPro. And I kind of came up with an idea. And last year, all the incidents that happened last year in all different tournament trails, we know about it. You guys know about it. It's one reason we just wanted to close the door and just disappear for a little while. We were burnt out. We were burnt out from the traveling and running the series, but also burnt out from the online. I mean, I have no time to even read it, but I hear it from you guys, the drama, right, that we were really not about at KS. So we were thinking, how can we continue to pay anglers more money, but not always make it this biggest? I mean, obviously the winner still gets the biggest pot, right? The biggest amount of money. All right. We all know that, but maybe if it's not such this giant amount, and maybe the money gets spread out in different ways and deeper into the field in other ways, then with the bonuses and things like that, that we've done in the past, the Aqua Power bonus, for example, and other bonuses we have on there, then anglers that are legit and not cheating, you know what I mean? And fortunately, we haven't had any big incident like that in our events. We've had people that have done, broke rules, but no one's been like, maliciously cheating yet, that we know of course. But the more we incentivize the filming and the more we do stuff like this, the less likely it is, right, for people to be able to cheat. And if you're cheating, you don't want to get a cut of the extra money like the English cut is, because you don't want to put a camera on to get that money, right? Because you can't show yourself cheating. So my point is, the English cut something we came up with, and we might pull like $1,000 out of the purse, let's say. And that's just an example. It might not be 1,000, but for round numbers, we'll say 1,000. And $500 goes to the best English cut. And the English cut is a cut of the purse, and it's also like a editing cut, right? And just, it doesn't have to be an edit, but just your clip that you send, that you guys are already doing. You're already sending in the clips. I mean, right there, always, you guys are doing an awesome job of sending in tons of content and clips. Now we're just going to pick the one that we feel is worthy of a $500 bonus, a $250 bonus, another $250 bonus. So we'll have 2 or 3 anglers cuts that we'll show off in the theater at the awards on the screen, which is awesome, because we got this amazing theater that we use at all of our stops, right? So why not use that screen and show off these videos? And I think it's going to incentivize you guys to submit more stuff and some cool stuff. And it doesn't have to be the biggest fish. It's like, you don't have to win. Think about it. It's a 5-fish tournament. What if you only catch 3 fish, but one of them happens to be really awesome, epic catch? Look at who was it? That was last year. They didn't. Elvis Lee, I think, didn't get a limit on the final, but he had some incredible catches, including some giants at broodstock. But he could now win money for that, because that fish didn't win big bass. He might have had an awesome fish catch. It could be just something random. Jake, you've seen a ton of stuff that's randomly happened on your videos. You're good at picking out the extra stuff, whether it's a cool, like a bear runs across the river and is fighting or whatever. I don't know. And English.
Well, we had one where the guy was going through the river and it was full of cows.
That's true.
Which, by the way,
cool.
is against the law. So that farmer was breaking the law in that state. So fun fact about that clip.
letting the cows get into the river.
You can't do that. But
well, easier said than done, I'm sure. When the cow decides to walk into the river.
Understand English.
Yeah, how to speak cow. But anyway, but you get the point. Anything could be the English cut money. So it's money that is still all part of your purse. It gets spread out a little bit. And again, the winner is still gonna be worth, obviously, all the time and effort and all that. but it's just a kind of way to get the money spread out. We've also talked about bringing the payouts down further into the field like we did at Broodstock, just making that standard. And again, I just think, as we've learned with some cheating incidents, even a couple $100 will cause people to go to great lengths to like try this stuff. So it may not solve the problem of us ever having somebody who in our events that does try to do something, right? But I think we've proven that with what we are able to catch on the Susquehanna with cameras rolling and us going around, our production team going around, and you don't know where we're going to be. This is not the series you want to try to break a rule in or cheat. It's definitely not cheat intentionally in. Too many cameras are rolling. You don't know where we're going to be. It's just not too many incentives to film, extra money and stuff like that. So hopefully by making some cool changes like this, it'll help alleviate some of that. But let's get into the events, the series. I'll share the screen here, the website. I have no idea. There's something just popped up, screen recording. I don't know. Maybe you can share the Google Chrome would like to record this computer's screen and audio. Grant access. What do you do? Yes? I don't know.
Well, it depends on.
Let me just, if I hit deny, it doesn't.
There. That's what you're looking for, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I don't even know what's happening. I'm on like different windows. I can still hear you guys, different screens.
Why don't you go back to StreamYard?
Yeah, I'm trying to get out of here and get back. Okay. So you got the schedule up. Yep. The events are up as well, the event pages. And there are I believe that the Tourney X pages are up too. You could go ahead and register now. Tallahassee is the first one. You can see here, if you scroll down, Jake, you can see we've got the eligible water in play. Some of the like these details right here, guys, you're seeing that of course might change, if we have a venue change or our Wednesday welcome dinner location changes, stuff like that is always going to get tweaked and changed. So don't pay attention too much to that right now. Of course, I don't think you will.
And some eligible water will change as well, because one thing that I will mention is there's a couple lakes that some people have flagged already as being no more public access, which happens all the time. So we'll adjust those as they come up.
Yeah, make you guys aware, especially on our official preview show for Tallahassee. But yeah, that's Tallahassee. If you look down, that we're going to try to go back to speaking about, again, trying to make it harder for people to ever break a rule or cheat, or just easier for us to cover the event and cover you guys and get that great media coverage out there that could end up in cool places like Kayak Angler. We are going to try to shrink, not so much at Tallahassee here, because we just had to get Chipola River and shoal bass in bounds for this event. We had to. It was like an hour away. We had to get it. We've typically gone by an hour rule, like about an hour away from our host city. But some cities and some places may not want, the hour rule. They might want to stay a little bit closer. And so we're going to try to keep it maybe like a little bit less, like 45 minutes if we can in some of these locations, because that helps us cover the event. Because you got to think about it. If Jake and I are on one side of our host city, that's 45 minutes away at that lake or river. And then we got to go and try to find somebody that's the complete other side. That's like an hour and a half drive of time just to like get to somebody else. So we're trying to shrink it when we can, just by a little bit, but it's still plenty of water, way too much water than we ever even need. An incredible puzzle for you guys to solve. So, anything to comment on Tallahassee? We do know New Canoe is our raffle kayak here. But anything to comment on Tallahassee, guys?
No, I think it'll be fun. Florida is always interesting, especially that part of Florida. You don't usually see people going there. If they're down there, usually they're over at, Seminole or something.
Yeah.
But we've obviously got that not in play. But
right. We didn't want Seminole to be in play, right? Do you, Jake, can you put your cursor over that little blue thing that says click here for full-size map, like under the interactive eligible water? Just to show people we added a link. I don't think it was obvious, right where it says interactive eligible water map to the left of you there. It says click on the blue. It says click on for full size.
It'll just open a new tab.
No, that's fine. We just want to talk about how that is there now, because it was kind of hard for people to find out how to get that map into a full screen. separately than being embedded into our website. So you can click on that link. It'll take you to a full screen of that map, explore all the water you want. This one's going to be awesome. You're going to be able to catch a Swanee bass inbounds, which could be in play for microbag. You never know. Swanee bass, northern strain largemouth, Florida strain largemouth. The shoal bass is inbounds on the Chipola River, which is the only fishable population of shoal bass in Florida. That's going to be a fun event. If nothing else, just to go get some bucket list fish. The next event we've got, so maybe Keith, we'll see what your schedule is like. Who knows? You might end up in Florida for this kickoff event. And
for sure.
Actually, before we leave, the guys over there, Seth and Blake at Florida Bass Nation, they're doing a great job. They're teaming up with us, partnering with us in the sense that they're really promoting it. They're making sure all the anglers are going to be there and just let's show out what Florida has to offer, because it's pretty amazing fisheries there, and we're there at the right time of year. This March 24th, 25th. Is that the right days? Why does that not ring a bell to me? But I guess it is. Is that right? Yeah, so it might be wrong. Actually, I have the date wrong there. I may have copied it. 27th and 28th. So I've actually messed up on the website there. I knew that was off. So 27th and 28th. See, I love finding stuff like that live here. But 27th and 28th, and what that's going to do is that's put you in the perfect time to be in North Florida. So like for the spawn, like absolutely perfect, because even last year, as good as 107 inches was at Ocala, you give that another month there, and that would have been even better fishing. So that's the right time to be there. And then the next event we got is, let's just talk about Indiana, because people want to know what's going on. That's the next one on the schedule. Right now, it's still planned to be on that date in Indiana, most likely the northern part of the state. We've been talking to, I have no clue how you can call cities and counties and all these other states, and they get what you're saying. They're excited about it, and it takes usually one contact, one phone call, one conversation, because we've already picked their area because it's an area with great fishing, and it has everything we need, the theater. But man, Indiana has been tough to find the right partner that has the funding to be able to help us, get there.
Well, we thought we had it initially, and then
we did, and it fell through. So things like that happen. But we have 3 or 4 places now. There's some board meetings that are going through, some committees that have to vote. There's another one that doesn't have to wait on all that. And I'm talking with them on Monday or Tuesday next week. So we'll announce that when we can. But basically, we just want to say we're committed to go to Indiana. I wish you guys all knew how I've spoken to like 15 different counties and chambers of commerces and tourism, bureaus, and just my mind is about to just explode. That like I can't get how this hasn't been finalized yet. But either way, it should be soon. But it will.
I work with some DMOs there, Drew. We should have a chat about that. I might be able to.
Yeah, exactly.
Up in there somehow. Yeah,
exactly. There's a lot of the northern part of the state has a bunch of counties and areas that have tons of. It's like Michigan, right, or Wisconsin. It just you get the terrain is different in southern Indiana as it is in southern Indiana. Is more like Kentucky. You know what I mean? There's just you have the lakes they make, these big reservoirs, and then the rivers and creeks, and that's it. And northern Indiana has it might be just the water in this county that you fish. But when we say the water just in that county, we're talking all the public lakes and ponds and the rivers that go through it. And now you've got 20, 30 different places to choose from. Some of them might be dinky little public pond. Another one might be, Indiana doesn't have giant reservoirs, but still a good large lake or rivers. So it's going to be exciting. Indiana's going to be good. So hang tight. We'll let you know as soon as possible on that. The next one, the New River Revival, is one that people are really excited about in Pulaski, Virginia. If you want to go to that one, Jake, you can go to that page. It's May 15th and 16th. See, we had the date right on that graphic.
Yeah.
So, May 15th and 16th. And that one's just going to be cool because, Keith, do you know that the New River is the second oldest river in the world? I don't know if you know much about that river. You're up in Canada. It's the second.
I am up in Canada. Look what's outside where I am right now.
Yeah,
it's snowing like crazy right now.
And on the other side of Canada, so you're far away from Virginia.
Yeah, I'm in British Columbia.
So I mean, it's the second oldest river in the world behind the Nile. It's really cool. It flows north. It's got giant bluffs, giant cliffs, and that's kind of one of the ways they could tell how old it was just from you can see that cliff right there in that picture that Jake just scrolled up to, and it's got incredible smallmouth in it. And this is going to be a really exciting event because we can't really like talk too much about this, but I'll just tell you this. We picked the spot, the center of the radius, that when you go downstream on this river, which flows north, which is another oddity, it flows north. If you go downstream north or you go upstream south, our radius at Pulaski County, right there in the city of Pulaski, is the center of the best fishing. If you go all the way to the north, all the way to the south, that is the section of the New River that is the most epic, the best fishing of all the fishing on the New River. So that's why we're there, and that's going to be incredible event. A few lakes and mounds, but I don't know if those are going to play. There will be somebody who, and depending on weather conditions, you never know. I mean, they came into play up in the Susquehanna when it flooded, right, for in Towanda a couple years ago. So I'm excited about this event. Jake, you got anything to add on this one?
No, I think it's a good time to go there. It'd be interesting to see if anyone pulls any out of the lake.
Yeah, Clater Lake right there is a big lake, and it's I know your forward-facing sonar, your life scopers. It's easier to do in the lake, and it's going to be a great time to be there. There will still be fish on bed. 100% fish will be on bed on that lake that time of year, because I've caught them on bed in mid Georgia in May, at the end of May. So this is mid May. So they're going to be on bed still, some fish. So live scope could be a player. You got some creeks and rivers that flow into the New River. I will say we already know a kayak sponsor for this one. Our official kayak sponsor is Bonafide. You will be raffling on to win a RVR at this event. So that's going to be a great event for it. It's obviously a great river event. I'm excited. I know so many people when we announce this are fired up. I'm not monitoring any comments, so who knows what they're saying about it, but it's all good stuff, I'm sure.
They asked where the background pic was.
I can't remember where that pic is, but I know it's on. You can find that picture on Pulaski County's website.
I think it's probably,
so I know it's in.
I saw a spot where I thought it was.
I don't know. I think I've launched there before, actually, but I can't remember where
Stonehenge.
it is. Yeah, there's a lot of bluffs that look just like that on that river.
Cool.
So let's see. So Josh Drinko's like, "Oh, sorry, did you just post something?" He's like, "Indiana sucks." Sorry, guys. It doesn't suck. I mean, come on. It's got some great fishery, but it's been more challenging to get just the same deal we've done with everyone else. Even before we were anybody, and we just were telling, Thomas and Georgia, this is our game plan, and would you want to support it? And we've never done one before, but you want to pitch in some funding, and we'll try to bring a bunch of people, get some heads and beds, and spend some money in your town, your area. And they were like, it makes sense to us. We get it. That's economics. So, but anyway, let's see. Yeah, if you get any comments that are good, you can put them up, and I haven't really been looking at them, but the next event,
everyone's said it's
that's Pembroke.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I thought it might've been Eggleston, Pembroke, something like that. So that's cool. I can't wait for that one. That one's going to be especially special too. See if you keep the page up. I just keep talking about it, but it's going to be cool because I think that's the one that we have. I know for sure our Bass U brunch where we do our seminars is going to be, which by the way, kind of announcement on that. We're kind of trying to move them like we did the last couple events to 9:30 to kayak fishermen who have been getting up and practice at, at 6 a.m., 5 a.m. all week. That's a brunch at 9:30, starting at 9:30. So but Jeff Little, I believe at that one is going to be the one where he's going to be doing, we have on the water at Clater Lake State Park. We have a shelter reserved. We're going to be doing on the water, Bass U brunch. So an on the water instructional. So maybe we'll get a couple other guys to just do some cool on the water stuff and tease what you can learn in those ACA classes and why it's important to take them. So that's kind of cool. What's the next event? We'll roll through these here. Let's see. After that, we've got, Juniata Regatta. So this one's going to be really cool because we all know that, Susquehanna is epic. And it's been just done so much, you know what I mean? That we thought, okay, it'd be nice to give it a break. And Juniata is giant, so itself, is, even though it's small compared to the Susquehanna, it's a big river, goes a long way. And Lewistown's right in the middle of some of the best fishing. So I'm not going to just go into this too much. There are a few lakes in play. There are also the Raystown Lake is in play. But the main thing I think that to note here with this boundaries where you're at now, Jake, is we decided to make it the downstream launch boundary for this Juniata River is actually where traditionally with Hobie and Bassmaster events on the Susquehanna, where their boundary was upstream on the Juniata from the Susquehanna. So now it's all fresh. Like you cannot, it's all fresh. I mean, you can of course still go downstream from that final, launch boundary. It's a launch boundary, not a hard boundary. So that's all what KAS is for rivers, 99% of the time. So you can go downstream a little bit, but you get my point. It's going to make it all new and fresh. So you're not going to fish this event, guys, and have to compete with any of the local hammers or even national hammers who fish all the Bassmaster events, which I'll be there this year. I can't wait to fish the Bassmaster Kayak Series on the Susky. But, you're not going to be competing with them knowing that they already have history there. It's like they've been there for 5 years in a row now, or 6, however long we've been. So that's kind of cool. Just all fresh. So what do you guys think about that in the chat here in person, Jake or Keith?
I've fished the Juniata quite a bit. I've never gone above where our downstream boundary is. So it'll be kind of interesting. I've gone up there, but a lot of the fishing I know is further down. So I think it'll definitely push them to focus on new stuff. Cause traditionally most people launch like here, like in this area. So
yeah, it's pretty close to the confluence, maybe.
Yeah, sort of. I mean, it's still
Yeah.
a pretty ways. You could float down to it in the long day of fishing for sure.
Right.
But,
so
there's this boat ramp here is one of the Bassmaster ones.
Right.
That a lot of people put in it.
We just want it to be a new puzzle. That's what KS is about.
I don't know
Going to
why
new
it's
places.
so laggy.
What's that?
It's like lagging. I don't know. But anyways. Yeah.
So
right here. So this
puzzle.
is a pretty common one. So it'll give people new water to fish. Not everybody
totally new water.
All these are totally new water to me.
They are, yeah. But
Yeah.
I just think the premise of what we're doing here is really cool. No one has to ever be concerned about. There will be locals who have fished obviously this stuff, and some people certainly have. But by and large, when we go to all these new places with KS and even Indiana, we might go to some new county or place that the local Indiana clubs have never really fished like any of those waters, or maybe out of the 20 lakes and rivers and places that are in bounds, maybe they've been in bounds for like 1 or 2 tournaments ever in the history, or maybe just one of them, is in play on an annual basis for the local clubs. So how do they know if all those other lakes and rivers might be the way to win it? They only know that one body of water. So it just creates this whole new thing. I just want to encourage you guys, especially the new and beginner intermediate anglers, what a opportunity that is for a level playing field and a new puzzle for you to figure out, regardless of where you think you're at skill level wise. But that's cool on that one. I'm pretty excited about that event for sure. It's going to be really fun to see how that plays. But the last thing to mention, we'll move on, is this is a June tournament. Now, when is Bassmaster or Hobie or whoever, us last year and the year before, when have we typically always gone to the Susquehanna? July, August, September, October. Those are the only months we've ever done anything over there. That's it. This is going to be totally new. Just after the tail end of the spawn, just after the spawns are done. You could have some weirder, higher water levels. Totally new, totally different. And that's the Juniata Regatta.
Yeah, I mean, the Juniata does fluctuate quite a bit when it rains just because of the nature of the river with the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
But I think by June, it should be all right.
Yeah, I mean, you never know, too. Some of those lakes can come and play. But the next event, what's the next one? We have a big break. This is kind of cool. We have a big break after June. So you go all the way till the end of August for the next event, and that's the Northwoods Bronze Quest. And that's right on the border of, the Menominee River makes the border of the Upper Peninsula of Michigan and Wisconsin. Getting closer to you, Keith. Getting a little closer. Still a long way away, but getting closer. Here's the cool new thing. Show that map like you're doing, Jake, and zoom in so people can see. You can see where Keith is. What that we've done differently on this one, because when you get to states like Michigan and Wisconsin and Minnesota, upstate New York, whatever, you have like a ton of just rivers and lakes, tons of them. I mean, like thousands and thousands. So what the our tourism partner would, they would like us to do for this event, and we said this is really cool. Essentially, you're fishing the county, like the Marinette County, but it's not quite the county. It's a little bit different, but you're not going into Michigan. So they're right on the border. If you zoom into the town where that river feeds into the lake in Green Bay, they're right there. So you cannot fish into Michigan, even though our host partner is right on the border of Michigan. You cannot fish any waters in Michigan. Now, truth be told, there's really not much up there anyway, but you can fish. You can fish anything inside that.
And just to clarify, boundary. I'm assuming you can fish like this,
you can fish that stuff. Yeah, that's all part of the.
Just so people don't think that you can't, you have to keep track of this line, the entire river, because you.
Yeah, that's right. No, actually,
you get like a shock collar on you.
Yeah.
Can't fish the left side of the river.
So let me actually, I worded it wrongly. I'm glad you said that, Jake. It's actually not. You can't fish Michigan. You just have to launch inside this boundary we've created here. Just launch inside. So if there's a tributary that goes up into Michigan, and as long as you launch inside this, you can go outside of this boundary. Again, this is like a launch boundary radius, right? So if you go to the west and show the rest of that, it's all done by roads. So you've got the river that's the border of Michigan and Wisconsin, and everything else is on this radius was built by roads. So as you zoom or scroll to the back to the west a little bit and down and just zoom out, you'll see, guys, all the rest of that is roads. So it's very clear, like it's obvious if you are, inbounds or out of bounds, where you're allowed to launch, where you're not. So if you start researching that map right there, you will all of a sudden, your eyes will get blown away the more you zoom in, or you will realize how many lakes and ponds that are public and rivers and creeks you're going to have. Now, we're also going to allow the main Great Lake, the Green Bay right there, part of the whatever Great Lake that is. What is that? Huron, or I don't know.
Well, that's Potato Lake.
But the Great Lake, the actual one, it's that Green Bay's part of. I can't remember, but I don't know which one it is. But you zoom out, you'll see. But my point is, you can still fish.
Lake.
Michigan. That's great. Lake Michigan. Yeah, that's right. Lake Michigan. Duh. So if you zoom in, you'll see where the mouth of the Menominee River is, in that blue line to the south, you can still fish any of that part of the actual Green Bay, but we will probably make a rule where you cannot go further than, whatever it is. I don't know if we're going to make it
we don't want to see someone out here at the lighthouse.
Half mile or something. And we might eliminate we might change that distance based on the weather. Like if we say you can't go further than a half mile offshore, then if weather shows up for that event and it looks like it's going to be really rough and really bad, we might keep you to, a couple hundred feet from shore. You see what I'm saying? So, but you will be able, in theory, if we have good weather, to fish the main lake as well, which has got great fishing. And if you look right at the mouth of that Menominee River, there's all kinds of like estuaries and protected like
right
bays. Yeah, good largemouth water.
Coming out of this river is just
exactly. It's super incredible largemouth. If you ever look at any of the
why it's so laggy
tournaments, it's a little bit laggy, but that's okay. The people will check it out. So that's going to be fun event for sure. And then that gets us kind of that, Midwest event. That's kind of like what we did last year, in Minnesota, the St. Cloud. That gets us an event up there.
I want to see somebody win on Potato Lake. That's my challenge. Go win on Potato Lake.
Why is that? Just random?
Just like
the furthest west random lake.
I'm sure there's winning fish there.
I mean, look at all these like tiny ones. I mean, now keep in mind, guys, not all of these are public, but the one cool thing about Wisconsin is there is a ton, and I mean a ton of like DNR or whatever they call it up there, like conservation area lakes, and nobody fishes them. Nobody fishes them. They're always vacant. I mean, all of these, I know this one is, and I don't know, that looks like a public launch there. So there's a lot of little bitty lakes, and they're loaded with all kinds of species. There's smallmouth in these lakes. Not all of them.
Yeah, not all of them. But you will. This is the beauty of KS, I think. Tell me if I'm wrong here, guys, in the chat or whatever. When I'm excited about a tournament, when I see the schedule announced, like the Bassmaster Kayak Series, I am probably just as excited to spend my winter, the off season, researching and scouting out, all the water that's eligible. So to me, when we open it up like this, it's like, now who's going to find the diamond in the rough? It gives you a lot of cool time to explore and map study, and that's just super fun. So it's going to be interesting to see how that one's won. The next event is that our last one? I think the next one, probably.
No, one more.
Yep.
Is there one more before it?
Broodstock.
Yeah, but the broodstock, which we have listed.
I don't know anything about this area.
All right, well, you're about to learn. So there's the picture of the Liberty Park and the Wilma Rudolph Event Center, where you can see there's an amphitheater. So Keith Stevenson, hey, do you ever get called? I get called Greg and Gregory all the time, just because people. I bet you see people call you Steve.
Steve calls me Steve all the time.
So Keith, check this out, man. If there's one to go to, this might be it. A grand finale. You guys, the D Hooker crew, you bring more kayak angler crew if you want. You see that amphitheater, you see that lake that's right there in that park. We can have kayak demos. We can have all kinds of stuff going on right there. And then in that event center, that's a boat ramp right there on the Cumberland River, a little offshoot of it. It's right there in downtown. Yeah, basically just south of downtown Clarksville. We're going to be able to set up whatever we want
right here.
Yeah, vendors. Yeah, you can have vendors. There's all kinds of parking. There's a restaurant right there in walking distance that we can have our after party at. It's going to be a blast. So let's try to get as many.
You have
vendors.
a giveaway for that one, Drew?
No, I don't think we have a giveaway for that one yet.
Well, let's chat about getting you a boat for that.
Let's chat about getting a boat or a trailer, or who knows, something big. I don't know, whatever. Or maybe a trailer will be our AOY prize. We have AOY announcements coming too, and rule changes we're going to go over, and then we're going to wrap this up after that. But that is the exciting, the Cumberland River and the headwaters of Lake Barkley and the other rivers and creeks that feed into it. I mean, it's going to be cool. Matter of fact, some of the river, like the Red River, flows in right there in Clarksville. If you follow it all the way up, the upstream launch boundary is basically was the downstream launch boundary for Broodstock 1 for Bowling Green, Kentucky. So we know that was an awesome event. We're in a great area, so I'm excited about this one. So yeah, way up there at that launch boundary for that one. So could be largemouth, could be smallmouth. It's going to be a mixed bag.
Well, I have a pretty strong suspicion that if you know what you're doing, you can definitely win with smallmouth on this, because the Cumberland's got massive smallmouth in it. I mean, people catch 5-pounders out of downtown Nashville all the time. So I'm very excited to see what people do. I think this could be a really good live scope event too, even though, people don't think about that. The Cumberland is so vast, and it's kind of a hard puzzle that someone who's proficient with live scope could really go into a river like that and wreck.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. Dwayne Wally's in the chat. He's saying, "Is that gray hair I see?" Well, it's a real white light. It's just a white light I got on me, dude. That's all it is. So, which kind of leads to some getting into some of our rule changes. Keith, again, hop if you need to. We have a few rule changes we're going to talk about, format changes. They're pretty cool and interesting, but I'll bring them in. They're in a banner. I put them on a banner here, Jay. You can remove that real quick. So here's our first one. We're going to make video releasing of your fish mandatory. I know everyone's freaking out now, but not like you think. It's mandatory only for a fish of a certain size that we call overs. You know what I mean? So it's like the Bassmaster Elite Series on Lake Fork. They can put a fish in their live well, because you can't really, whatever the law is there, you can't have you can't possess or whatever. So they got to do that there, catch an immediate release. So it's like whatever it is, 24 inches, I think. So Major League Fishing, right? Every lake they go to is a different threshold. It could be 1.5 pounds or 3 pounds or 2 pounds of fish that counts and scores. So if we go to, let's say, Florida, this first event, I haven't decided yet. We'll talk it over, but it's probably going to be like a 19-inch fish is your threshold. So unless it's big, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't change anything you guys do. It's a simple video of that fish on the board. You can go ahead and have your thumb in the fish's mouth, of it on the board, and then you can turn it to you and say something to the camera. You can release it. And what got me thinking about this and why it's a perfect segue with Dwayne Wally in the chat here.
AI.
Yeah. It eliminates, the potential for AI and all that stuff that I know they're catching that stuff a lot easier, but Attorney X is doing a great job. But also in our series, you have teams and you got a partner, and judges aren't looking for duplicate fish on two teammates' stringers. They're only looking for it, and Tourney X kind of notifies on your own personal stringer. Oh, these are 1/4 inch away or whatever. You might need to check for just to make sure it's not a duplicate. So somebody could give the fish, in theory, if their partner was right there. Yeah, someone could, in theory, give the fish to their partner, and if they needed an upgrade, and it'd be hard to, somebody would catch it because all those pictures are there. So eventually you would get caught. But the point is, this helps with that. It gives you an opportunity to shout out a sponsor or whatever you want to do. If you want to turn the camera on you don't have to. And you don't even have to submit these videos. So that's a cool thing. Okay, it's mandatory, but you don't have to submit them. What it is if we need them for any reason, if the fish looks beat up, if there's something, it's got a gray eye, like something that looks fishy about it, we want to see the video to know it was released live and healthy and back in the water. Now, here's what's cool. We don't ask for it. It's probably not going to ask for it very often, but we are going to encourage you guys to submit them because we're going to have another way to spread the distribution of funds or prizes. I don't know if it's cash for this or just a prize, but it's going to be the best release video will be put on the screen. We'll have a sponsor that'll sponsor that category at the awards. So the best release video will get posted on our social media, and then you'll get it's a little bit of airtime. Your sponsor might get some airtime if you say what lure you caught it on or what rod or whatever you did, but you got 15 seconds or less. And here's why I say that. Dwayne was talking about, again, I don't want to speak for him. Maybe it's true or not true. I don't know if he's in the comments, but about potentially adding in a video component to Tourney X, where you can upload a video that's 15 seconds or less. And maybe it'll be implemented in 2026. We're thinking, even if he doesn't have it on Tourney X, it doesn't matter. You guys will still, could still submit it to us the same way you submit your videos already. If we had Russ's videos somewhere, Jake, I don't know if we still have it queued up.
It might still be in this.
It might be. But Russ's video at Shoaly Palooza was the perfect example. It was a vertical video. He showed the fish on the board. He lifted it up and just showed him and was like, dude, this is unbelievable. What a giant. And then he like panned around to the shoals he was fishing. You don't have to do all that if you don't want to, but that's kind of what we're talking about. So you don't have to have an action camera, it's just your phone. So it's just a good way to, again, prevent someone from trying to get away with something and help you guys get some airtime and win some extra money and prizes. So it's pretty cool. But there'll be somebody who'll be, like gripe about it, I'm sure, but it's super easy. It's not going to, even if you caught 5 fish that were all overs, it's going to take you 10 seconds times 5. That's going to add on that much time to your day. It's like not really a big deal. If Elvis Lee's still in the chat, I think my next big announcement is to the AOI. And the reason why I said is Elvis in the chat is because this was brought up to me, and it made me think about it because of Elvis last year. He arguably had the second or third, probably third best year of anybody. And he was like, what was he, second or third heading in AOI? He was second or third. He's up there behind Adam.
Yeah. I think it was like him, Russ.
No, Russ was like 6th. He came back and won from 6th.
Was he? I thought he was like 4th or 5th. Well, anyways, Tyler Bean was up there, I think.
But he was high. He was like second or third. He was up there.
He was up
there. So if he's in the chat, he'll comment what he was. But either way, he then went on to unfortunately not get a limit. He was on the right body of water, I'll tell you that. And he had some big fish on his stringer. And he's doing this with 2 kids, 2 sons with him, and coming all the way from Minnesota, driving all the way there with no practice. And he had this incredible year. He did this at every event. So then when I looked at the final standings of the Angler of the Year, I saw where he fell because broodstock was mandatory to be in your 3 events. It was mandatory. One of your 3 had to be your broodstock score. And then I said, which is Angler of the Year. I thought, man, if you really who had the best year, it was Russ, Adam, and Elvis. But Elvis is like 12th place in the AOI standings. And because he had 3 other scores, if you took his 3 other scores, he still would have been way up there, right? So it bothered me. And I was like, you know what? The main reason we made that rule is because we want people to come to broodstock, the finale, right? And I said, why don't we just make it where it doesn't have to be as part of your AOI score, but you still have to be at broodstock. I'm even saying you don't even have to fish broodstock. Obviously you're going to be there, you will, but you just have to be at the awards to accept your trophy. If for some reason you had 3 basically first place finishes and you didn't want to fish broodstock, just show up to the awards to accept your trophy, it's just going to count your best 3 finishes, no matter if it's a broodstock score or not. It's just your best 3. But you got to be there to accept it. And it's most likely you're going to fish it if you're there. So anyway, that's kind of a change we made, and it would have changed some things for sure. So yeah, he was off. He was in 3rd place. He said he was off by like 4 points. So Elvis, I think that's a pretty cool change that you'll probably understand because you felt it. You know what I mean? Like you look at the standings and you're like, I had a much better year than that shows, and than many of the people that are above me, because we all had to count that one score at broodstock. So that's a change. All right, next one. We'll rule change number 2. That was just like a format sort of change. Rule change number 2. Micro bag, you can now have up to 2 fingers on the bass. That's easy. Self-explanatory. You had one last year, but people had a hard time even getting the fish to stay down with one. So we'll at least change it to 2 now, but we didn't want to hide too much of the distinct, features of the fish. That's why we said 1 finger, but now 2. So John Dalton, Glenda, whoever else, your micro bag anglers, that rule changes a note. Now this one was interesting because there was an angler who did exactly what we asked him to do. They reported something they saw that they thought might have been a breach of the rule, and it was somebody who was mother shipping somebody else before the event. And I was like, okay, they don't. Everybody else has motors, so it's not like they're getting an advantage. You know what I mean? Because everyone else has motors. So, if you don't know, if you're a paddle only kayak angler and you don't have a friend or someone that will tow you, like, okay, I get it, like whatever. But I just don't think it's really a big deal. I think it's just easier to say that it's allowed before and after lines in. You could grab your a competitor when the tournament's over that has a motor, or if your battery died, or you know what I mean, if whatever, and you can get a tow back. So we added that in there before and after. Again, this also helps people get separated out and split up. So if another competitor or your teammate wants to tow you, if you don't have a motor, it's not really changing much. It's just, we just need to notate that was legal. The update to the code of conduct policy and sportsmanship rule, particularly concerning social media. You can go in the rules and see this in the way it's written, but basically we just made it a little bit more clear. If you go on social media and you post pictures or videos, you claim somebody is doing something, did something X, Y, and Z, well, then you're never going to fish a KS tournament, or at least not anytime soon. You'll get banned from entry into our events, because if you saw somebody doing something, you had pictures and videos, and you make these claims on the internet, they should have come to me first as the tournament director, so I could look into it and do something about it, dude. Like, why would you go on, post it publicly, and not go to the tournament director first and just let us do our job and figure out? And like we did on the Susquehanna, I didn't know. I got the anglers, Jody in particular, did exactly what we asked. He took pictures and video of the anglers he thought might have been a little bit too close to the dam. He wasn't sure. We got them. We look at the evidence, our own evidence with the drone and everything else. The tourney X pins, we did our due diligence, and then we're able to rule, properly on the situation.
We definitely made the right decision there. Trust me.
100%, 100%.
There's a lot more that was never, we've never really talked about it, but I think since this is our first live stream since that, I do want to say that there is a lot that went into that was never shown, never discussed, because it was just, releasing that publicly is just like slinging mud, right? But I can, trust me, like the evidence was overwhelming in that scenario. So
yeah, exactly. We didn't want to show and all that, because it just is like, exactly at that point there was enough. That's what this rule's for. There was enough court of public opinion, whether it was right or wrong on our particular situation. There was enough of it out there that was like negative and just I don't know, just like not good, without any proof or just people just slinging mud, slandering. And in that situation, all the anglers did is break a rule. So, that was a little excessive, and we don't want that to happen in our tournaments again. We don't want people that, are like that. We want to have fun, man. This is like, a big party. These are like the old boondoggles, a little bit mixed in with tournament. So the other rule changes, that's the last one. The other rule changes, there are other minor things on the rules page. If you want to pull it up, you can, but we're not going to go over them, but just to show, you can scroll through it, Jake, you go to rules and just skim through, and you'll see they're all in red. Anything that was changed from last year to this year, we turn them red. Remember, that's how we do it, so that you guys don't have to reread the entire rules. We just, with other ones that were in red that were new last year, got turned to black because they've been up for a year. These are all the new ones we just added. I don't know why that YouTube graphics in the wrong spot, but I'll have to go fix that. But we made them all red. So if you scroll down, you'll see there are some other minor ones, like little teeny things that we didn't talk about here, but that's for another podcast anyway. So, and all the language and the verbiage for let's see, like that social media, for example, like all that stuff's kind of there. So anyway, should be a good season in general. I'm excited about it. And then let's see, I'm just looking to make sure we covered everything. I think we have covered it all. But come see me at the Great Lakes Fishing Expo. I'll be there on Sunday, like I said. Keith, what are you excited about now that we've gone over that? I don't know, maybe there's some comments we can pull up or questions we can answer, but what are you excited about this season, man? When you see all those locations and the fun,
I want to fish. Well, I want to fish them all, but I don't think I can. My wife will kill me, first of all, and I've got other conflicts with the U.S. angling stuff I'm running to. Some of these are at the same. Everyone wants to fish at the best times all the time, right? So a lot of events going on, but I'm going to definitely try to get to one or two of them this year. And just congrats to you guys for having such a wicked start for over a couple of years only. And I hear it from everybody with my position and the reputation and the growth and the success that it's had. And it's cool to see new destinations. And I love having it's the ability to go to different lakes in a county or wherever. It's really cool. We do have a very cool old historic theater where I live here in Revelstoke, but that would have to be a trout fishing kayak tournament.
Yeah, for sure. But you know what, dude? I'll tell you this: you're not far away from Oregon and Northern California and Washington State. What we need to do, if we kind of want to grow KS a little bit, we've definitely told the West Coast anglers we want to have one out there. So maybe next year, if we have one out there, maybe for the first time I can fly out there. I could do it with you, and you could be our MC on stage with me, and then every year after that, it's one you go to, and maybe I don't have to be every West Coast, and then you be the MC on your own, and I could be live
fly
here.
Into that.
It would be. It's cool to see, like, and the opportunity for growth is so huge, and there's a lot of lakes out there, right? Yeah,
a lot. So with this format, you can go and you can take that screen if you want away. Or I guess I can hit remove. There's definitely a lot of opportunity for our sport to grow. Now we have this format that people are starting to understand. It's the same thing. It's the same puzzle sort of in a way as the Harris chain of lakes or the Kissimmee chain or Lake Gunnersville or whatever big body of water, because you never can practice and get to all of that big Lake Gunnersville anyway in practice. And so, and on the Harris chain of lake or the Kissimmee, you never can practice all those lakes anyway. You have to come up before you get there, pre-event, with satellite imagery and research and Google and YouTube. You got to do something, or just the style of fisherman you are, river, lake, shallow water, deep water, whatever. You got to figure out a way to narrow it down to just a few that you practice on, right? Once you're there in person. What's the difference? The only difference is those you can technically, a bass boat through a canal, which takes you forever, you can actually get to it from that one single launch. But we don't do tournaments that way. We don't launch from one launch. So why do we have to adhere by the bass boat way of doing these tournaments? We don't. We're different. We're kayak fishermen. We don't. We just drive to all of our launches anyway. So who cares if it's, I think Chad
I hate boat
KBF.
ramps.
Yeah,
I've said that. I say that like once.
I know.
I hate boat ramps.
Me too. I want to go find the canoe and kayak launch or whatever.
Scratched my kayak.
But I don't know where it started, but it might have been KBF the year they did Shreveport, where you could fish all those 5 lakes. And now we kind of just do Caddo and Bissano. I think we realized those are the two everyone's going to fish anyway. So, but when they did that, it opened up that door in the understanding.
They had the Red River too, I think.
Yeah, we're at the Red River. Yeah. But, and we've always done, the River Bass and did the same format. You can kind of fish all the stuff inside of a boundary. Just always something that has been, I think, one of the most unique and the best things about kayak fishing that we've never really taken and implemented as much into the competitive side of it. And so I'm excited, but I can't wait to see it, Keith, and we'll have a great time chatting about some of the other cool stuff that we'll be doing. And as we go into the next live streams, guys, we're going to start getting pretty quick into these preview shows. You can kind of learn a little bit more, have some guests on. We'll probably get Seth and Blake on with Florida Bass Nation for Tallahassee. We'll get our tourism partner and just kind of chat about some of that stuff there. That's because that's going to be really cool to talk about the spring-fed rivers, the Tannic lakes, the Tannic rivers and creeks, all the different species. I can't wait. That's one of the next ones we'll do. So, and we'll have more announcements of payouts and structures and things that have changed. We'll keep adding more to the website all the time on that. So appreciate you guys for hanging in there. Keith, we'll let you go, and then maybe Jake and I will look and see if there's any comments we need to address, but appreciate your time and what you guys have done for us already.
Thanks for having me on, and I'll see you down there on the water, and for sure I'll see you in July, but hopefully before that.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good.
Right on. Good to see you guys. Have a good one.
See you. All right, bye.
Later.
Yeah, ICAST in July, which is one reason we had that big break. You know what I mean? It's always tough for us to go to an event to ICAST, and then, I was like,
we addressed most of the comments for what it's worth.
Cool. All right.
I'm looking through them.
Yeah, there were some.
I mean, Elvis did ask about the college/high school series, I think.
We did, yeah.
Did we do any changes to that? Not that I know of, I think. Because I know, like, AOI. I mean, we could try to do an AOI. Like, I think it would be easy enough. But
the
problem is it gets a little lopsided. But, I mean...
No, we could... I want to do that. I want to try to find a way to do AOI.
Yeah, I think we can do it. It's just, I mean, I think we had, like, 20-ish youth last year. So, I mean, that's not awful.
No. And once you do it one year...
And the Lee family they could hold down like 3%, 5% of that.
Yeah, exactly. Once you do it one year, that gets more people excited about joining up and being part of it next year. I think we might have, maybe on the website it shows this, we might have merged it and made it say high school, college, or whatever. I don't know. Maybe we did. Maybe
I couldn't remember if we finalized.
I can't remember. I don't know if we did.
A long 3 months.
Or if we're going to. But I don't think I've seen this Active Target 2. I'll have to check it out. Is that something new that just got announced?
It's just more live scope.
More live scope.
More. The fish actually, like, they swim into your boat now.
Yeah. Just jump right in. First KS event for, gosh, I don't, it doesn't say your name. It just says you're at Plurmf Ham Wrangler. Okay, that's awesome. First KS. Excited to see you there. We would love for you guys. We want to do something cool for everybody who's fished the events, and then have helped us try to get other, people talking about it. So we want to try to do some bonus or some incentive where you get something for, oh, dude, we didn't say, we'll announce this on another show, but I'll tell you right now, if you go and look at the registration price, it dropped to 150. We were at 175 last year. We took it back down to 150 again, just doing everything we can to, again, I don't think you're going to see this giant, like, oh my God, the winner no longer gets, $7,500. It's not going down to like 3,000 from that. Like if it was a normal event, it was a normal winner would get, say $6,000. The winner now might get like 5,000 or something, or 4,500. It's still a lot of money, but the rest of that money gets just all split up into the angler's cut further down the field. So maybe the last places all get, like we said, your entry fee back, or you might get, the last place might get a free entry into KAS, which is a $150 value. So just, I forgot to mention that we did drop that price a little bit, but yeah, let's try to do the AOI and let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think, here we go. The New River. Yeah, we got another guy, Black Hook Outdoors 88. I don't know why some people, I guess it's YouTube versus Facebook. It shows their handle on.
Yeah,
YouTube
it just depends on which platform.
And then Ohio Fishing Freak 2000. The schedule is going to be a blast. So, yeah, it's going to be a blast. Yeah, I think we're pretty much, that's it. I don't think anybody else has really had any questions that we didn't really answer. Just hang tight and we'll announce a lot of other cool new stuff. So, we already answered this question, Frank. What size fish do we have to do release videos on? It's just, we'll announce that and put it on the event page, that tournament page. We'll say, if it's somewhere with smaller fish on average, we know it might be like, I don't think we'll ever go less than think we'll ever go less than 17. I doubt it, but probably usually it'll be somewhere in the 18, 19 inch range and up. Florida will probably be 19 inches, for example, maybe even 20. I mean, we don't, because again, if you're catching fish that are less than that, I mean, it's just not really necessary. You're probably, unless you got 5 that are exactly, a quarter inch under our threshold, you're probably not winning the tournament. Luke wants us to come to Alabama. Man, we want to go there for sure. It's probably going to be next year, because how do you go 3 years and not have Alabama in there yet? Now, I will say this. We were close to Alabama. Our boundaries were for Shoalipalooza. You were right there across the border in the Hooch. And so we're not too far away from Alabama and our brood stock. So close, but there's too much good water there. So let's see. And Elvis saying it's going to help his wallet, I guess, lowering that price a little bit. So, all right, guys, have a good one. We'll catch you later. And this is a little bit longer probably because we had to go over so much. And we'll keep working on this stuff and make it happen in 2026 on the Kayak Adventure Series. So thanks again. See you, Jake. Have a good one. See you guys. Instagram. See you.